Well, guess who's back? It's hay fever. But there's also some fairly interesting Coronation Street news that will likely lean more towards speculation than actual news. So, without any further ado, let's get into this article. Coronation Street's Mick and Lou tip for shocking son twist. The nightmare neighbours have a child. Now, we've already pretty much... Oh, it shows on the short... Well, we've already pretty much seen this in a way where, essentially, just when Mick and Lou started appearing, we also saw Dylan be in the, SCU, the Secure Child Unit, or whatever it's called. And suddenly there's this slightly, very Mick-like, dickish thug called Brody. Obviously played by Coronation Hollyoaks alumni Brian Mulvey, who is fantastic, but also so far we've not really seen a nice side to Brody. He's just been using Dylan to get what he wants. And he said, my parents have just moved here. And with what is pretty much a unkept secret that there will be a flashback back to 2008 roughly. I don't remember the exact time date, but that general time period when Kit Green, Mick, and Lou were all younger, and there's gonna be a lovely little baby twist. So yeah, Coronation Street, Mick and Lou Michaelis have been tipped for a shocking storyline which involve a massive secret being revealed before they exit the soap this summer. Played by Farrell Hegarty and Joe Layton, the couple are set to leave Weatherfield this summer, but not before a few more explosive storylines. According to The Sun, the pair, who are described as nightmare neighbours, are hiding a secret son who they'll leave behind on the soap. Reports suggest that Mick and Lou will eventually reveal their son is another newcomer to the show who's already been introduced. It's Brody. It's Brody. In upcoming storylines, Thug Brody, who is currently with Dylan in the STC, bollocks, I keep fucking up, we revealed to be Mick and Lou's son, though it's later revealed that Brody is Mick's son and is actually the son of Kit Green. Starring as Brody on the soap is former Hollyoaks actor Ryan Mulvey, while his newly revealed dad is Kit, played by Jacob Roberts, who was also in Hollyoaks, but at a different time. Meanwhile, Hegarty and Layton will exit the soap this summer just after 6 months on the cobbles. The actors who only joined the soap back in February are reportedly set to film their scenes next month. And then it's all the other stuff as well. So, yeah. So, ultimately, Brody's Kit's son, which I think is the most interesting part. It's the only reason why it's a news thing, because this is mega. This is great. Because when they would... I didn't talk about it in a video, but when they did mention how Lou and Mick are leaving, I was just kind of like, does that mean Brody's just gone? Because the issue with Brody is Ryan Mulvey in Hollyoaks was probably one of the breakout characters of the previous year. His storyline with Isabel Smith, who played Frankie Osborne, tremendous. Probably my favorite Hollyoaks storyline of all time, and fundamentally, really, really strong portrayal. In Hollyoaks, he obviously, upsetting content. He played a twin called JJ Osborne, and he arrived with his twin sister Frankie. And through time, it would be revealed that he has been sexually abusing his twin sister in this really dark and twisted abuse. And then he would gaslight her, and he would... he was threatened. He basically just hold it all over her. He liked controlling her. He was the golden boy. She was the problem child. Little did everybody know that she was the problem child because he was doing awful things to her. And in the end, he did face justice, and he did go to prison, and he finally admitted what he did. But it's also proved to be an absolutely excellent vehicle to to kind of shine up two diamonds in the rough. And that's who Ryan Mulvey and Isabel Smith were. Isabel Smith's still on Hollyoaks. She's still doing great stuff, and she's kind of been given the Whitney effect, where she gets a really dark first storyline, and then they're like, oh, we should give her something better, because if we don't, she will leave. And Ryan Mulvey in the same way. Obviously, he couldn't stay after his stint on the show because his character did unspeakable things. So, him joining Coronation Street was a pretty big coup, especially considering Isabel Smith was also found playing a character on Coronation Street where Max thought he was chatting to her, sent a penis picture, and then she's like, I didn't send it to me. Is someone's using my profile to catfish you. That's messed up. And all that to just say, when they mentioned that Mick and Lou were leaving, I was a little bit reluctant to be like, does this mean Brody's just gone? Because Brody, he is the future. He is a teen character who you've seen what he's capable of doing. You want him on your show because he is a great actor. Obviously, he's not being given much to work with currently, which is always the problem when introducing new characters. You want to introduce a new character with an interesting storyline, but sometimes you'll just introduce a character with a big edge, and then slowly take that time to endear the character to the audience, and then they gradually learn more and more. And then you realize that maybe if they are a dick, here's some backstory as to why they're a dick, or hey, they've had some trouble, so you know what, it's not even their fault anyways. And that's what I thought. I thought, if he is tied to Mick and Lou, first, perhaps, because Mick was tipped to leave first, right? Mick was tipped to leave first, so I just went, okay, Lou's going to stick around and raise him on the show. Nope. No. Wrong. And at least this says that Brody will be, obviously, he was always going to be on the cobbles at some point. But at least now it's guaranteed that he will get out of the STC at some point soon. Likely when Dylan leaves. And Dylan's going to be like, oh, he's making my life a misery. I hate that, Brody. You're right, mate. I don't know. That's what he sounds like in my head. But yeah, I was like, okay, if Mick's leaving, Lou's staying, raising the family. Nope. Nope. Gone. No, neither. And that's why it's an interesting twist, because Kit Green has been one of the most invested in Coronation Street characters of the last couple of years. He has been, hoisted from his Hollyoaks underwhelming stint, given a much more serious tone, and now he is probably one of the main characters of this recent era. He has been given a lot of big storylines. He's interacted with a lot of big characters, and he's interacted with a lot of the bigger actors on the show, and he's shown to have a bit more of an edge. It's an absolute worlds apart from Damon Hay and Hollyoaks, where not Damon Hay, Damon Drinkwell? I don't remember. Whatever. He was Damon in Hollyoaks. He was a bit useless, and he didn't really do much. He was basically, he was Brian. Not in terms of personality and the fact whether he just had one place that he worked at the Love Boat, and that's it, all he did. And he also had a mate called Brody, funnily enough. It was mental. That's great. That's kind of crazy. Obviously it's not a callback, but shut your mouth. But yeah, why it gets interesting is because Mick and Lou were never meant to be long-term characters. Maybe they had the chance and the potential, but ultimately it just doesn't look like they were given that shine, which is fine. It happens with soap characters sometimes. But it also means that Kit Green now has a kid, and we always wondered what he was going to be like with a kid, especially when they dangled the idea of him having a kid with Daisy, which later died. So now we do get reluctant dad Kit Green and the truth about this kid's parentage coming out, which I do think will be what makes Brody a bit more likable, is him going, oh man, like, you are my dad. Oh, and then a kind of will they, won't they, like, finally embrace one another. And, Brody's been having some less bad times. I forgot the angle. I got distracted. And, you know, maybe Brody will, like, go on the straight and narrow, or maybe Kit will, like, slightly help him out as he's kind of a bent copper. And, yeah, I do like this twist. Like I said, you're always wondering what was going to be the hook as to why Brody was going to show up. And him being Lou and Kit's kid is more interesting than him being Mick and Lou's, because Mick is a fucking prick. And that's all there is to it. He is a knobhead. He looks like angrier Paul. It's not great. But this means that Kit Green, a very established character now and someone they've been trying to build around, will actually start to have a family, and maybe he'll want more kids, etc., etc. And it seems like he'll eventually get with Sarah Platt, and you know, they will settle down together like they teased back in the day. I think that's going to be quite interesting. I am looking forward to it. A whole lot more than I was otherwise. So this twist has made it infinitely more interesting, now knowing that Brody's parents aren't going to be dead ends. Well, at least Lou is, but that's besides the point. And that is the exciting part about this. Because now he's actually going to have a dad who's worth a shit on the show. And we're going to get to see this unfold. So hey, what do you think? Obviously, I don't think people have a very good opinion on Brody so far, simply because all he's been doing is being a dick to Dylan. So ultimately, no one's really invested in the character. But anybody who also watches Hollyoaks, you're either... I viscerally hated that man in Hollyoaks. And I don't really like him in Coronation Street. But just remember, as someone who loves Hollyoaks, he is a fucking star. If you can take anything from Hollyoaks, you take Dylan, you take Ryan Mulvey, and you take Isabel Smith, and you will have a future soap star in the making, if not somewhere better. But hey, full credit and a good twist for Coronation Street. I am glad that he's not forever tied to Mick, who for me will be one of the least interesting characters Coronation Street has ever produced. So yeah, tell me what you think about this in the comment section down below. It's always nice when I get to record the Friday video on Thursday, and this will be the Coronation Street video for the week. So sorry if I'm not covering the episodes. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.